Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for today's USCHA Scholarship Webinar. I am Tara Barnes, Director of Conferences, and I'm joined by several of my esteemed colleagues, and I ask that they introduce themselves.
I'll jump in. Jonathan Ayala, the Associate Manager for Treatment Division here at NMAC.
Michael.
Hello, everyone. I am Michael Smith Jr., Contracted Program Coordinator for Youth Initiative Programs, and I'll be talking about the BEAP Youth Initiative Scholarship.
Great. Darnell.
Hello, everyone. My name is Darnell Green. I'm the Social Media Coordinator here at NMAC, and I'll be talking about the Social Media Fellowship.
Great, thanks, Janelle. So today we're going to discuss our various scholarship programs and give a tutorial on how to submit. All right, so let's get started. So most importantly, the submission deadline is Monday, June 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And please note that you'll see that it's in red and it's bolded and it's underlined. And the reason that it's Eastern Time is so that we can address any issues that may come up with those that are actually in the portal. So note that it's not Pacific time or Hawaii time. We need all the submissions to be in by Eastern time, okay? And then our committees will be in review and we can turn those decisions around so that we can get those out by Thursday, July 1st. All right. Next slide. So we are glad to offer a variety of scholarship programs, but option A and option B are our general non-programmatic scholarships. Anyone can apply for them. So option A is for registration only. That's helpful if you live local or if you know that you can get support for travel or for hotel. We have option B. That includes one conference registration, 2 nights at a conference hotel, and $100 stipend. We also have our HIV 50+ Strong and Healthy program and our VE Youth Initiative program, and they have similar benefits. They include 1 conference registration, 4 nights of hotel, per diem, as well as round trip transportation. Our Social Media Fellowship program includes everything that I listed except for per diem. The social media is also like a full scholarship, but it does not include per diem. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the various members of the scholarship programs and those divisions talk about those scholarship programs. Jonathan?
Awesome. Thank you so much. So again, my name is Jonathan, and I help manage the 50+ Strong and Healthy program here at NMAC. Let's go to the next slide, please. So our program goal is really to build the leadership capacity for our 50+ scholars, and they are folks who live all around the US and Puerto Rico. We train 50+ scholars in a lot of different skills in project development and social media activism, peer health education, advocacy and policy skills building, just to name a few. This is all in service of helping folks be more effective and efficient and powerful advocates for themselves and also for their peers and other folks in their communities as well. And again, this is our program specifically for older adults living with HIV and or other long-term survivors. And one thing that I'd like to point out for folks is kind of what Tara was mentioning earlier is this is the launch or sort of the beginning of a longer year-long program. So USCHA is a great way to kind of have this splashy launch. And we're super excited to hear from folks who are both interested in attending the conference and participating in USCHA, as well as participating in the program components that come throughout the rest of the year as well. So we really want to hear from folks who are interested in both pieces of that as well. Let's jump to the next slide, please. I am going to go through a couple of these program components, but I'll be brief since I know our time is short. And so this is just a photo that we took last year in Puerto Rico of the 50+ cohort. And as you can tell, it's a lot of fun. It's great energy. So, so definitely be excited for that. Let's jump to the next slide. So like I mentioned, USCHA is where we launch. So our 50, and that means that our 50 plus scholars come in a cohort. They come to the conference and they're asked to follow the HIV and aging pathway. And this is a pathway that the treatment division curates with the conferences division, and it's an entire program specifically around HIV and aging issues. So we offer workshops and panels and listening sessions, and that's open to our scholars as well as the general public as well, the conference public. So we definitely encourage you all to check out those workshops and events as well. And in addition to the workshops and the aging pathway specifically, we also offer the 50 plus lounge, which again is also open to other older adults living with HIV as well as other long-term survivors. And that's a time to reset, recharge, to connect, to network, and really build community there. Afterwards, we ask our 50 plus scholars to reflect on their experience of the conference, what they learned, write up those reflections so we can publish it in the NMAC newsletter. And of course, throughout the conference and afterwards, document their experiences on social media. So again, this is where we kind of have a big splashy launch and we have a great time at USCHA. And let's go to the next slide, please. But of course, the fun doesn't stop there. we start pretty thereafter the conference. We start our peer education project, and this is a bilingual peer education project. This equips or gives scholars the skills to be able to go into the communities to lead peer health education workshops. And so this is an opportunity for folks who have done it a million times or have never done it before. We give them the training on the curriculum and help them with logistical support to be able to offer this into the community. So this is one option, a program option that folks can choose to or elect to participate in if they're a 50 plus scholar. Let's go to the next slide, please. So in addition to the peer health education project, we also offer 50 plus scholars the opportunity to implement a mini grant. And this is an opportunity for folks to really design and implement in partnership with a fiscal agent, another nonprofit organization, to design and implement a project that they want to see happen in the community. So folks have done like wellness summits, and they've done health education webinar series, they've done murals. So any kind of need that our scholars see in the community, specifically around older adults living with HIV, this is an opportunity to really give them those leadership skills to be able to do that. Let's jump to the next slide, please. We also offer webinar series as part of the 50 plus program, and this is open to not just the scholars, but to everybody. Our next one, just a little bit of a plug, is coming up on the 26th, 3 p.m. Eastern, and that's on drug resistance. You can find that on our social media pages. So this is another program component as well. Next slide. And finally, we also offer our 50 plus scholars the opportunity to join this grassroots network of National HIV and Aging Advocacy Network. And this is an opportunity to strengthen their advocacy skills and connect with other advocates at the local and state levels to push for policy priorities at the state, local, and then also at the national level as well. So I'm going to pause right here as I'm about to close up, and I just want to leave folks with 3 tips, okay, as you fill out your application. So number 1, we really do read your application. And we take a lot of pleasure and joy out of doing that. So I would just stress the importance for you to provide really thoughtful responses to the essay questions. Take your time, write it out on a separate Word document or piece of paper, share it with others to get a second look, but really be take your time on that. We have a couple of weeks before the applications are due, so we are looking for thoughtful responses. Number 2, we want to know who you are. If you're comfortable, share why you're passionate about HIV and aging work, and what you might bring to the program. And then finally, number 3, provide specific examples of why attending USCHA and joining this 50 plus program is going to be useful for you and for your community. How are you going to keep or share the knowledge that you gained from USCHA? How are you going to share that out with your peers? So being as specific as possible possible about that is going to be really helpful for you. Thanks so much for considering the 50+ program, and good luck. I'm looking forward to reading your applications.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. So Michael will talk about the V Youth Initiative.
Yeah, thank you, Tara. The Youth Initiative program, similar to HIV 50+, it is a programmatic scholarship as well. So it's slightly different than your general scholarships to the Youth Initiative, to the conference. Thinking about the Youth Initiative itself, you have to, I think, remember that it is a 10-month program, a 10-month training program. And to be eligible for this program, you must be living in the United States, one of the territories, or districts. You must be between the age of 18 and 25, and you can be a person living with HIV or an HIV negative ally. So the one thing I want to highlight about the Youth Initiative, it is sponsored by ViiV Healthcare, so shout out to ViiV Healthcare for funding us. And the goals of the Youth Initiative is that we believe that we want to develop young leaders to help end the fight, to end the HIV epidemic by being effective and informed health advocates. Now, how do we do that? Is through to become, these effective and informed health advocates is through three components. So we can go to the next slide to highlight those three different components. So the first component really is HIV prevention training. Like I said, this is a programmatic scholarship, 10 months long, that first includes HIV prevention training, projects that you can complete as well, and professional development. So when we talk about HIV prevention training, that is conducted at USCHA. So being a part of the Youth Initiative allows you to be able to attend, that you're required rather to attend specific training for youth, young adults between the age of 18 to 25, related to HIV stigma and many other correlates. And we're going to talk about that training in a second. The other component is, while you're at USCHA, yes, this is all being delivered to you in person, and you're required to attend those different trainings at USCHA specifically for Youth Initiative. We do give you some time to explore the conference itself, because of course the conference is massive. It has a lot of different components. So we do offer some time, some limited time for you to explore other sessions. But again, I want to emphasize that you will be required to attend certain sessions that are specifically for Youth Initiative. The reason why is because we are preparing you to be able to go back to your own community after the training at USCHA to facilitate your own HIV community projects. That's the second component of this project here, this program, is that you will receive grant funds to be able to go back to your community and use the skills that we are teaching you, that we are facilitating at the conference, to be able to be well-informed health advocates and also to create change. And those projects include HIV Community Project and a group project within the group related to awareness days, such as National Youth and HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, long-term survivors, just to name a few. And the third component is that we want to make sure that when you leave our program, that you have the skills, the necessities to be able to go back to your jobs or to get in this field and be successful. So we make sure that we partner you with professional development speakers to learn more about how you can develop as a young leader. Next slide, please. So I talked about this training program, and it's the curriculum that we have that's set to prepare you to be able to facilitate these different projects, such as the HIV Community Project and different awareness days. Here's a quick glance at just a few of those topics that are specifically designed for Youth Initiative programming. So we talk about stigma and HIV. We talk about health literacy and communication, public health program planning, biomedical prevention strategies, HIV epidemiology, and lastly, of course, those professional development speakers. The next slide. So here are the key commitments throughout this 10-month process. Of course, we want you to be available for webinars and also the USCHA conference, because of course at the conference is where you're getting those tailored curriculum topics for Youth Initiative Program and also able to attend other sessions related to the conference itself. But we also want you to be committed to partner with a local HIV prevention care organization to facilitate your project. That's one of the commitments we want, is that we want you to not only use this information, but also apply it in your own community through your HIV community project. We also want you to be able to work in a group related to your awareness day projects. But ultimately, we want you to be willing to partner with us, the group, the other young scholars and professional development speakers to figure out ways that we can be well-informed advocates to help fight in the HIV epidemic. That's the Youth Initiative. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Michael. So Janelle is going to talk about the social media fellowship program. Thank you. Janelle, are you muted?
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Great. All righty. So what is the Social Media Fellowship? The Social Media Fellowship is a 6-month cohort that allows influencers in HIV to develop a campaign between themselves and MMAC, and we'll promote it on every social media engine. What can your campaign be about? So the way that we want people to build their campaigns is find something that you're passionate about dealing with HIV. It can be housing, it could be testing, and create a campaign on it. For example, we had someone last year in our cohort was in ballroom, and their focus was decreasing newly diagnosed HIV cases in the ballroom community. So the campaign was, no matter how it falls, remember you're always having a ball. And so it was to promote HIV testing. So anything around those different things is what will happen. We will team you up with programs like Disney, Essence, CNN, and more to help develop marketing strategies to have your campaign pushed out throughout social media. We also will provide the space for you to develop one-on-one with me and myself or with our cohort teachers to teach you different strategies on how to promote your campaign, where to promote your campaign when creating captions, what's your target audience want to be, the whole 9 yards. And then how do you get to those campaigns? Well, when you fill out that application, there's question 5 that asks you to create that campaign. The campaign that you produce on your application will be the campaign that we push out. So that's how we pick what campaigns will be used and which campaigns will partner with MMAC. There'll be a monthly branding meeting that everyone would have to attend to make sure that we can get you the basis and things that you would need to develop your campaigns. The fellowship is open to U.S. residents only. It's approximately a 1-year program, beginning with selection and continuing until the following year's class of fellows is chosen. Fellows will help to promote USCHA and other MMAC programming and messaging. While at the conference, not only will you be given the space to promote your campaign, and you'll be given the space to organize and be with the participants, you'll also be covering the conference. So you may give the opportunity to be on MMAC social media, interviewing participants at the conference, capturing photos, capturing videography, capturing the conference, and you'll get your credit for it as well. That's the Social Media Fellowship campaign. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks, Janelle. Okay, let's go through the submission process, how to submit. So first go to the USCHA website and click on the scholarships tab. So you'll see below, that's the direct URL. Okay, at the top of the page, click on the apply button, the apply now button. And that'll bring you into our online portal, Submittable. And on this page, they give you information about all the different scholarship programs, as well as the previous, if you actually just go to MMAC's website. But this is where you will apply for all of the scholarships that were actually mentioned. So on this page, I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you scroll all the way down, you'll see a blue box to create the account. And once you get into that, you create the account, and it will bring you into a basic, applicant page, and just getting all of your contact details, your name, address, email, etc., all of that information. So you can fill all of that out. That information is required, of course. If you go down further on at the bottom of the page, you'll also get into the demographic information. Demographic information is not required, but we suggest that you fill it out if you feel comfortable. And the reason because that it allows us to get a more accurate picture of who is actually attending the conference. It allows us to tailor our programming, tailor our services, and make sure that we are being diverse in our decision making. So it's very helpful, when you do fill that out. Okay. So continue to scroll down, and then you actually get to the scholarship questionnaire. So as I mentioned, so all of the programs that were, our general non-programmatic scholarships as well as the programmatic scholarships, you applied for all of them through this portal. And you can only apply for one. So make sure that you decide which one you want to apply for and give some thought to it, since you can only apply once. So if you look to the left, at the top left of the screen, you can actually see where the different radio buttons are to select the one that you're going to apply for. For this particular example, someone selected that they wanted to apply for option B, and then you'll see all the different fields with the questions for that person to answer. It is required to answer all of the questions, and you'll notice, before you even submit, different ones, if you were to go on the form and just click on the different radio buttons, you'll be populated. Different questions will come up for each program. So as Michael mentioned and Jonathan mentioned about the different aspects of the HIV 50+ and the youth initiative, they actually have different questions come up, but it's still the same process. So once you select which one you want to apply for, again, think hard about the questions that you that come up. Take your time. The thing about this program is that you can actually save in before you submit it, so you don't have to actually submit right then and there. You can work on your questions, look at the questions, copy it, put it in Word, start to work on your answers, and then come back at a later time to do it. That's perfectly fine. So once you do that, you actually then click, when you're ready to submit, you click on the blue button where it's highlighted, where the arrow is, and then you'll be taken to a confirmation page. And then you're done. So what's next? So then your application is submitted, and then we actually convene a group of reviewers to actually score your applications and make decisions. So we have some tips. Of course, you listened to some of the, Jonathan mentioned some tips for the 50+ Strong program. This is actually just some overall tips. Definitely complete the entire scholarship application. You'll see anywhere that there is a red asterisk, that field is required. So to make it easy, and so you won't be prompted to go back and look for a field that was missing, just make sure that you keep a note of that. Also have a peer or a colleague review the application before you submit it. Type out your, as I mentioned, type out your answers in Word program, and have someone else review. They may see something where you didn't mention something that you've done or that you want to highlight. They may have, it's always great to have a second pair of eyes to look at things. Please also make sure that they check for spelling errors and check for grammatical errors. Note that letters of recommendation are not mandatory. We give an option in the form for people to upload, but you don't have to. Remember to actually submit your application. So this is where I was talking about the option to save and come back later. Remember to actually come back later once you finish and click on that submit button. Otherwise, we don't have it and it will not be scored. So definitely make sure to hit the submit button before the deadline. And the last one is I said to submit your scholarship form by June 4th. In your mind, think of that as a deadline, but submit earlier. And the reason I say that is that we want to avoid any, a lot of times people they'll apply on the last day, the portals get overwhelmed and then they crash. But if you already know you're ready to submit, submit it now. The portal's open now. But yeah, we encourage you to, do it a few days before, before over the weekend, if you eat that hot dog on Memorial Day, but just, submit it early. It's just good practice, but you don't have to. The deadline is June 5th, but we just want to make sure that there are no submission issues with the portal. So we're done. Let's answer some questions. Chip, what do we have?
So we have several questions, and let me start on here.
Okay.
So each organization can only receive one scholarship?
Yes, so you can apply, but when it comes time to actually award scholarships, we award to one organization. So, our goal is to make sure that we don't award the same people year after year. We want to give people, a chance who have never received a scholarship before to actually be awarded. So this is why, we're not trying to, set up roadblocks. We just want to make sure that people get a chance to experience it.
Okay. Can someone submit an application for a scholarship even though they submitted an abstract for consideration?
Yes, they are not related.
Let's see. Can you save the application and come back and finish later?
Yes, you can. So you'll see once you get into the app, once you set up your account, you set up your login, they'll send you an email with your login. Or just remember the login credentials that you created so that you can log back in at any time. And there's, like most portals, there's an option to recover it if you forget it.
Can someone who is under 50 apply for the 50+ scholarship if they work with an aging population?
Yes, and actually I'd like to invite the rest of the members of the team to kind of just join in case people have questions on individual programs. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, that one I would say, certainly you're welcome to apply. The only caveat is that we prioritize people living with HIV who are 50 and up and who are the long-term survivors. So if somebody was born with HIV, for instance, or been a long-term survivor for many years. But you're welcome to apply if you'd like.
Okay. Are there any scholarships for PLWH that have been impacted by the criminal legal system?
We don't have anything specific to that, but you can definitely apply. Yeah. To any of the programs where, if you're, just make sure that I would say the general programs like option A and option B, those are the scholarship programs that you may be interested in. Or, Jonathan, 50+, the person said that they were HIV positive or a long-term survivor? Chip?
I'm sorry, Tara, could you repeat that, please?
No, I was just asking if you can repeat the question of the person.
Oh yeah, they're asking if there are any scholarships for people living with HIV that have been impacted by the criminal legal system.
Okay, so no, I thought perhaps they said that they were 50+, but yeah, you can definitely apply for, I would say, our general scholarships, option A or option B. And that was, again, option A was a registration only scholarship, and option B is a scholarship that offers complimentary registration, 2 nights of hotel, and $100 travel subsidy.
Right. We have a question about if there's going to be any Spanish language preview of issues coming up at USCHA.
Spanish language preview, or are we talking about like a general orientation when we hold that? Yeah. So the goal is to definitely have some interpretation for our orientation meeting. And that's the meeting that we hold for everyone before the conference. It's normally held about 2 to 3 weeks before the conference, when we have all the programming together and we can share information about everything that's going on.
Okay, and a question about when scholarship recipients are notified.
We plan to notify everyone by July 1st.
We reach out to applicants, ask them questions about their application.
What's the question?
Will you reach out to applicants to ask any questions about their application?
We will not do that. And also wanted to know that part of our process is that they are blinded. And so, it's like Jonathan mentioned before, answer those, share information about yourselves, so, and provide as much information as possible. So the reviewers will not contact you for additional questions and when they're evaluating. And I also so these scholarship applications are reviewed by MX staff. We actually have committees of community reviewers to review them and to make the decisions. Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
is the number of scholarships the same as last year?
Not necessarily. I think each program division has a certain number that they have to award, and of course, everything is based on budget. So I'm not able to share the exact, number for all of them, but it is pretty similar.
How many applications did you receive last year?
I think that we got it. It was definitely over 400, or I'm actually thinking it may have been over 500 applications last year. There were a lot.
And a question, how many scholarships in each category are there?
Yes, so what I was saying is that I can't share exactly how many, since a lot of it is based on budget. But, I'm not sure, Jonathan and Michael, can you share that?
We have around,
Mm-hmm.
more or less around 50, plus or minus, again, like Tara was saying, it really depends, around 50.
Yeah.
And for Youth Initiative, we're looking at up to 25 scholars, participants in the Youth Initiative program. And like Jonathan said, it's a plus or minus, always dependent upon budget, but roughly around 25.
Yeah.
Okay. And what if you're not part of an organization, but a person who's 50 plus and a long-term survivor?
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. Welcome to apply, for sure.
If you've attended a conference in the past but not received a scholarship, can you obtain a scholarship to attend now?
It depends on your scholarship application. Mm-hmm.
If you received a 50 plus scholarship in 2017, can you apply for any of the others now?
You're welcome to reapply also for the 50 plus. Again, they're blinded, so we don't necessarily know, but we do try and make sure that we're reaching new communities as well that we potentially haven't worked with. So I think people are eligible to apply for other ones too, right, Tara?
Absolutely.
What about those?
They say perhaps they wouldn't fit in the youth category, but yeah, any other. Mm-hmm.
What about those living? Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What about those living with HIV for a long time but not at the age of 50 plus?
Yeah, for sure. Like you can definitely. It's pretty much like if you are a person, we prioritize, right? People 50 and up living with HIV. And sometimes, a lot of times we'll get a large number of applicants who fit into that category, but not always, right? So sometimes, we'll go a little lower. So it really depends. Or for instance, if your essay questions just like really show that you're a great fit for the program, and you explain like why you're especially interested in HIV and aging work specifically and what that means to you and your community, absolutely, like we welcome you to apply, and if you think it's a good fit for you as well.
Okay. couple of questions about long-term survivors. What's the definition of a long-term survivor? And someone who's only 47 or living with HIV for 27 years, does that qualify me to apply for 50 plus?
Definitely. So I think long-term survivor, we're going to let folks kind of define that for themselves. And then, like I said before, it's really a matter of whether, you're welcome to apply, especially the thing we're looking for is the HIV and aging passion, right? Like if you're passionate about advocating and working for folks who are HIV and aging, absolutely, you're welcome to apply.
Can undocumented immigrants apply for scholarships?
We do not check citizenship status, so.
If you do not get a scholarship, how much would it cost on average to attend?
Sure. So if you are average, don't remember our registration fee offhand, but let's say you're a member of the conference. Our early bird rate is $490. The hotel, the nightly rate for USCHA is $199. And of course, I think the tax is about between 14 and 15%. So on average, people that will attend will stay for 4 nights. So that's just for, hotel and registration. And of course, travel is, based on where you're coming from.
Can 4 staff members from the same agency apply?
You can apply, but we will only award to one person from the organization.
What is NMAC's focus for this year's conference?
The focus for this year is Black women in HIV, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. I actually forgot to mention that. Last year we started, and in prior years we've actually, noted when we had a particular theme or focus population. Last year was on Puerto Rico and Latinx individuals. This year it's on Black women in HIV. And so what that means is that you'll see that throughout the conference, not, basically also in tailored programming, specific programming, and more workshops addressing Black women in HIV. But it also applies to scholarships. So for all of the categories, we are prioritizing Black women in HIV. So please apply if you fall into that group, and encourage your networks to apply as well. And see, that's where it helps to fill out that demographic information.
A couple of people asking for the application link. The application link is in the chat box now, so you can go there for that. Question from someone who's asking about why we don't make sure information participants provide remains confidential.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, why does NMAC not make sure information participant provides remain confidential? He's concerned about people who may reviewers who might break confidentiality.
Okay, so we can't ensure confidentiality because we do have reviewers to look at the application, but they are confidential when it comes to names. So the reviewers do not have the applicants' names. Now, if there's something specific you're referring to, feel free to send me an email directly. If you had a concern about confidentiality, my email address is tbarnes, TBARNES, @nmac.org. And Chip, if you can put that in the chat.
Next question. Will priorities be given to those who were never approved for an in-person conference versus the conference that was virtual in 2021?
You said, is there a priority?
Yes, priorities given to those who were never approved for an in-person conference.
Oh, well, it's based on, I would say, for everyone's all the different programs, it's based on the actual application. So the priority isn't there. However, we do try to accept those who haven't been to the conference before.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we've had a couple of people said you can only apply for one type of scholarship.
That's correct.
Do you look at the applications as they come in, or will you look at them collectively?
Collectively. The reviewers look at them collectively. Basically what happens is that, once they're all submitted, so they actually go to the various programs and to reviewers that are reviewing the applications for that program. They do it all at once, so we wait till the deadline passes.
Question about volunteering for the conference if you're not selected for a scholarship. Yes,
there is going to be an option to volunteer. Our DC host committee is actually managing the process for that, and they will have a submission form that we'll be adding to our website. So that'll be there within the next few weeks. So they're just putting the final touches on it. So yeah, we'll post that and we'll announce that when it's on the website.
Can you please repeat the cost of the hotel?
The hotel is $199 a night. If you actually go to the website and you click on the venue tab, you'll see all the information about the hotel, and including the rate.
So a couple people asking about applying. You can only apply for one, and you have to choose which one you're applying for. You're not automatically entered into a pool for all of them.
No.
We've had a couple of questions like that.
Yeah, you select the one. Yeah, so you go, and so in the actual questionnaire part, and remember for this, this is being recorded. So if you need to go through and just make a note of everything that we talked about, it'll be recorded and put on the website. But yes, there is an option. You'll be able to select which one you want to apply for in the form.
Just a reminder again, you can only apply. Still getting questions about applying for more than one scholarship. No, you can only apply for one. Even if they're different categories, you can only apply for one.
Yes. Okay, Allison, are you bringing that up? Yeah. So if you're actually on that page, you'll notice that there's not a checkbox. It's a radio button to select. So you're not able to, say submit that and then go in and submit another application for a different program.
Okay. And to clarify, one scholarship per organization might be approved?
Yes, but you can apply, multiple people can apply. And again, it's because we want to be able to offer it to as many, different people as possible.
I'm sorry, Tara, 1 second here.
No problem.
Let's see. Do you cover any expenses for volunteers?
We do not. That's typically what the local committee organizes. Most of our volunteers are locally based.
Question from someone: will you welcome me as a 73-year-old living with HIV for 37 years?
Yeah, will we welcome you? Of course.
Yeah.
Let's see. For volunteering, what does this include as far as cost, if any?
What does volunteering include in terms of cost?
Mm-hmm.
You can send me an email separately just so I can address your particular questions. But again, so for volunteers, that most of our volunteers are locally based. They're local to the area where the conference is because we don't cover any expenses. Like the benefit of volunteering is to be able to attend the conference free.
Okay. What if you've applied for many years and never gotten selected?
Yeah, no, there are a number of people, and I would say that, it's not personal since we're not looking at the names. But what I would also suggest, if you need help or if you have some questions about, your application or some suggestions, feel free, you can contact any of us. We're able to kind of give you some feedback or some tips. But it could have been for a number of reasons. It, could be making sure that people, submit everything, completely as far as their answers. But mostly, I would say mostly. So, when people, we just don't have the money to support everyone. So it's not, we wish that we were able to give, scholarships to everyone, but we just can't. We receive hundreds of applications and we only have a certain number of slots that we're able to afford.
Are there any discounts for FQHC employees?
If the FQHC is an NMAC member, so our discounts are through actual membership of NMAC, and it's pretty substantial. So please go to our website at nmac.org and look for information on how to be a member. We do also offer discounts for groups more than 10 to attend.
Is ability to post on social media required for the 50+ scholarship?
No, it's not required.
On the first question, what if you're not part of an organization? Do we leave it blank or simply put NA?
You can put NA. Yeah, you don't have to be a part of an organization.
What's the discount rate for groups more than 10?
It's either 5% or 10%. Actually, it's 10%. It's 10%.
It's 10%.
Yeah. Thank you, Allison.
That's all the questions for the moment. Quick reminder to everyone that this is being recorded. So the recording will be available on the scholarships page of the USCHA website tomorrow. So you can go back and review for anything you might have missed. I also, if you don't mind, Tara, want to do a quick pitch. For those who've been using the closed captioning system, this is our first time using a closed captioning system for one of these webinars. If you've been using it, please give us your feedback. We would appreciate it.
I also have to mention that I am standing in for one of our staff members, Shante Gray. She is enjoying some time off. MAC is gracious enough to give us a sabbatical after some tenure. So she is enjoying her sabbatical. So she will be back on June 5th. So if you have any questions until then, just send an email to conferences@nmac.org. That comes to all the members of our division.
Hi, Tara.
Yes.
I got an email earlier today that I wanted to ask a question about. If someone applies early because they don't want to miss out not being able to come to the USCHA this year, and they get a scholarship, will they get a refund for their
Yes. So if you have already registered in your applying, then we can issue a refund.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I understand people wanted to apply, especially to get the early bird rate. So that's fine. All right. Again, thanks so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, send us an email, conferences@nmac.org. Awesome. Have a great day.